Fishing is a relatively small industry in the UK, but it's always been central to Brexit. It connects to notions of sovereignty and fairness. It connects to fierce passion on both sides, and the UK's trade negotiators know there are clear expectations.
Have the best fishing grounds, and Europe has taken advantage of that for 40 years, and we want to take our grounds back.
The focus on fishing is constant in the Brexit process, and the idea that a country should decide who fishes in its waters has a persuasive logic, as this English fisherman puts it.
We're an island nation and let's profit from our seas.
The UK government is in sync with that, saying it will decide who fishes in our waters and on what terms. But what sounds simple is proving far from it, not least because the UK helped create the situation it now wants to change. Let's start with deals done in the 70s by the UK and its neighbours. They're the basis of the quota system that the EU uses. This is how it works. Here's the UK's exclusive economic zone, marked in red. But if you're in the EU, it's not exclusive. Everyone's zones are treated as a single shared resource. Each country gets a quota based on their fishing catches in the 70s. And individual fishermen and companies can then own a part of that national quota. And that allows them to fish a certain amount. So that's the system. Then in the 90s, some fishing rights changed, some quotas lost value, and some English fishermen sold their quotas to foreign businesses. They voluntarily gave up their right to fish their own waters. And in that time, those quotas gained value. The BBC found that by 2019, over half of the value of England's fishing quota was controlled by vessels in foreign ownership. The same was true in Wales, though in Scotland the figure is much lower. So because of the EU quota system, because of foreign ownership, both of which the UK agreed to, Europe's boats have been operating in UK waters for years. And from a European perspective, there are good arguments for this to continue. The first is that a way of life is at stake.
If we can't enter British waters, it's practically the end of our profession.
And Emmanuel Macron is clear. He says he won't let that happen.
In no circumstances will our fishermen be sacrificed to Brexit.
The second argument is that the UK doesn't have a domestic market for some of its fish. Take herring, for example. European fish companies argue either they catch it and sell it, or
English people have to learn to eat herring. A lot of it.
But for all the European arguments, of course, Brexit is a reality. The UK is opting out of the EU's quota system, and we are heading for an inevitable reset on fishing. Some argue the EU has yet to accept this. The analyst Mutaba Rahman says the EU position on fish is absurd. Essentially, it's everything changes because of Brexit, but on fish, it stays the same. And perhaps the point is that fishing, despite being a relatively small industry, is in fact about everything. It's about the UK's sense of sovereignty. It's about Brexiteers keeping promises. It's about the EU demonstrating its collective strength. And one last thing on that. Here are the EU's core principles for Brexit negotiations. Look closely and you'll read, nothing is agreed until everything is agreed. And that's where fishing finds itself, part of a far larger conversation about how the UK and the EU interact. Compromises are inevitable. Resources will still be shared, and that includes, to some degree, the UK's fish.